For the first part of the review, you are just solving inequalities. And on these inequalities on the front page, you do not have to graph the answers. You just have to solve them. So for number 1, you just have a two-step inequality. I'm going to subtract 3 to both sides and get 5x is greater than 10. And then to get x by itself, we would divide by 5 to both sides. And then x would be greater than 2. Okay, number 2, it's very similar. It's also a two-step. So I'm going to subtract 3 and get negative 4x less than or equal to negative 8. I would divide both sides by negative 4. And I would get less than or equal to 2. But hopefully you would realize that because you divided by a negative, you'd have to flip this. So we want to change that to be greater than or equal to. Okay? So we would make ourselves a note, at least for the review, that you need to flip the inequality because you divided by a negative number. Okay. Number 3, we can use distributive property. So I could distribute the negative 3, get negative 6x. A negative times a negative is a positive 12. This is very important, this positive 12. A negative times negative is a positive. You will see this on the test. We had a question like this on the first test, and the kids missed this because it was a negative here. It's supposed to be a positive. So greater than negative 18. Okay, now this is pretty much like number 2. So subtract the 12. I get negative 6x greater than, and then because they're both negative, I'm adding them, and that gives me negative 30. But I have to divide by that negative 6 again. So, because I divided by a negative, I flip this around to be less than, and that divides to be 5. Okay. Number 4 is like one of the questions on that first test as well. You notice that these are on the same side of the inequality. Okay, so if they're on the same side, you just combine. 17 minus 7 is 10x. Minus 30 greater than or equal to 50. And then we just add 30. And 10x is greater than or equal to 80. And then our last step is to divide by 10. And x is greater than or equal to 8. So combine like terms, got the 10x, and then it's just a two-step inequality like number 1, and what we've been doing. Okay. Number 5, you notice on this one you have this variable, and we have to get those together. So you can see that they are on separate sides of the inequality there, right? But if I bring that 9x over, then I'm subtracting it. And 12 minus 9 gives me 3x. Greater than or equal to 24. Now this is just one step. So the opposite of 3 times x would be divide by 3. And we get x is greater than or equal to 24 divided by 3, which is 8. Okay. On number 6, same kind of idea. These inequalities are on opposite sides of the inequality. These like terms, the x's. And so if I want to bring this over to the other side, I subtract it. And if I subtract 15 minus 6, I get 8x plus 7 greater than 52. So now I'm back at 2 steps, so I subtract 7. And 8x is greater than 52 minus 7 is 45. And then the last step is to divide by 8. So if I divide by 8, that gives me 5. Okay. Okay, we'll stop there for the first video.